CS Pooja, Dr. Miglani, and all the organizers, including Advocate Piyush Jain and Advocate Nipush Singh Vijay. I think today, the GIPA is organized very relevant and very interesting, the subject for the discussions. And I must say, they have gone through the profile of the speakers. The speakers with such a rich the profile, it will be, as Nipunju said, it will be worthy to listen to them and then, they enhance our understanding in the knowledge. The topic, if the means, I wish to very broadly share my the views on the both the topics. Starting with the recent amendments in the Companies Act. Of course, we find the government of India, through the MCA, has been proactive, as to say, depending on the situation and the circumstances, they have been relaxing the norms, the rules by way of notifications, and the many amendments notifications have been issued in last about 9 months, and especially the considering the very difficult and challenging situations we all gone through. In fact, the entire world has gone through, starting from relaxing the penalties and extending the times, the considering the practical problems, both on the part of the professionals as well as the corporates. And, in order to promote that, the CSR activities, especially, for the COVID treatment and all, there are many, the situation and the expenses which, the government has allowed to be treated as, the CSR expense. And of course, the extending the board meeting to board meeting gaps, and, the allowing the shareholders meeting through, with virtual meetings and all. So these are, so the more in detail, both the speakers, learned speakers are going to share. But, one must acknowledge and appreciate the proactive steps taken by the government of India, very encouraging. The other topic, SME IPO, we all know the biggest contributory to the economy, SME segments, and especially in the employment sector, just after the agriculture sector, the second largest employment engaging sector. So the government, they knowing well its contribution has always been promoting, taking, some proactive kind of measures in order to promote SMEs. Unfortunately, the SMEs, this sector has been operating largely in the unorganized sectors, but, the government of India in last almost about a decade has introduced so many regulations in order to promote the promote and encourage the sector to get into the formal sector. So by introducing the law like GST and all, I think, they have personally experienced the people who used to be a little scared about, the increasing their turnover and those, the billing part without billing and all. Everyone is getting, switched over to the formal, which is quite an encouraging thing. And the government of India, in order to extend its, you call it the incentive or liberal schemes, have been amending the definition of SME, which is linked with the turnover and the investment in the plant and machinery. So quite a liberal definition, and there are a lot of, the confusion over definition initially. Now, I think there is a total clarity. So that, the corporates under and the business under these structure very well know, what all they are entitled to, and, So one of the biggest challenge SME segments, apart from other challenges, is, the funds raising, which, be it the banks and bank, of course, by putting a lot of stiff conditions and all, they would still extend the debt, but the equity raising has been the major problem. So now two stock exchanges, BSE and NSE, I think almost for last, I think 7 8 years, if I'm not wrong, they have come out with the special platform in order to allow SMEs to raise money through the stock exchange, which used to be only a game for the bigger the players, bigger corporates. Now the all the eligibility, the criteria has been laid, which is not very tough, I must say. And like the one of them is the post paid up the post issue paid up capital not exceeding 25 CR and the track record positive net worth. These are very normal, which is expected. No corporate would be able to raise money unless of course they have some track record and all. The benefits, of course, are immense, but so are the challenges and the disadvantages. The benefits, of course, it lowers your burden, it enhances your equity base, and it encourages the innovations, entrepreneurial, because the entrepreneur who are running SME segments, they really find themselves kind of alone. But with the larger equity participation, with the risk-taking ability and all, and they are able to grow their operation and the business much faster. And visibility, of course, the image of the organization, goes high. But the challenge is, and the disadvantage, I must say, because I personally experienced, I had a couple of meetings with the CEO of BSE SME segment, Mr. Thakur, and Mr. Benjin, who heads their Delhi operations. Of course, they are doing a lot to encourage and motivate SME segments to approach, and they even not only creating awareness, but they literally do the hand holding. They literally do the hand holding. They guide the companies, and the means one is really not required to hold much expertise to approach and to they go for IPO. So literally they act, though technically one has to have the merchant banker and comply with the other requirements. But they used to be the time when the stock exchange, apart from the listing of the shares, you would not expect anything, but literally they are managing. They are doing everything in order to promote this concept. And the over 360 the companies have got listed on Bombay Stock Exchange, which holds about the 70% market share of SME IPO or listing. The National Stock Exchange, they have the another platform called Emerge platform. But personally, I have spoken to many people. Because BSE, I'm told, they're not that the one is trying to promote one is stock exchange and not putting much encouraging words for the other. But BSE, I'm told, in terms of the hand holding, and this thing is much more convenient and all, and that is how the market share is much larger. And the good part is, once you start with it, then later on, once you meet certain the criteria, namely, the paid up capital of say more than 10 crore and the market capitalization of 25 crore, there is a very easy process of switching over to the main boss, where then you are out from this thing, you have a better the liquidity and all. But I was asking the management of BSE SME as to why, means even after so much of the efforts, not too many companies have still gone for it. So, I was told basically the two reasons. One is definitely the lack of awareness, and not too many people are aware. But I see even, the getting into SME IPO is in terms of even the cost is not a very comfortable situation. If average size of raising is generally, I have seen, is between 10 to 15 crore. And, the one end up, at least 4 to 5% of the initial cost going in, to get into SME IPO, whether it includes, of course, everything, including merchant banker and all. Another reason, which I'm told not too many companies are going for this, because in order to save kind of the tax, the profitability portion is not the correctly being shown in the books of accounts, and the financials of those SME segment then are not very attractive. And even if they want to raise capital, but they means whether you call it in terms of commanding premium or the kind of the valuation they expect and all, it is not supported. The business is good, it is giving but it is not supported with the fundamental, the book financials and all. So that becomes, but now of course the mind of people are now opening up, the people are now happy to pay tax and all. And I'm sure with this, the train, many more SMEs will be not only eligible, but will avail this particular option. So I know the rest, of course, we have learned experts. They are going to share their views on both the subjects. And I'm sure each one of us, we are going to learn a lot. And I wish the GIPA and this program all the best. And thank you very much for the opportunity given to me to share my views. Thank you,
sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your kind words. And I request to give guidance for in future also.
आपके साथ हैं, आपके भाई हैं, उसमें कोई बात नहीं.
बड़े भाई हैं सर. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I would like to introduce Mr. C.A. Raj Chawla, Dr. C.A. Raj Chawla ji. He is FCA, FCMA, ACS, LLB, MIMA, DISA. He is a partner with Raj Chawla and Associate, Chartered Accountants at New Delhi House, Barakhamba Road, and practicing as CA since 1992 in the field of income tax, auditing, cost accounting, etc. And he was chairman of NIRC of ICI 2015 to 16 and treasurer of Delhi Management Association DMA New Delhi 2012 to 2016. Secretary Rotary Club Delhi 2011 to 12. President and trustee of Krishna Samiti Foundation NGO, and also recently elected as Central Council member of ICI 2022-2025, and also the founder of CA Article Implement Network. And so I like to hand over to CA Raj Chawla ji to guide us for the same. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, members. Good evening, members. First of all, I am thankful to GIPA and Shri Parveen Jain ji for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. और मैं तो परवीन जी का बहुत ही आभारी हूँ. ये इतने अच्छे टॉपिक, इतनी अच्छी सब लोगों को ज्ञान की गंगा बहाते हैं, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. मैं भी पिछले 12 साल से डेली अपडेट भेजता हूँ, तो मैं इस इंटरेस्ट को जानता हूँ कि सब लोगों को अपडेट करना. और ये जो अब हमने हमारे ये कहते हैं कि जैसे कोरोना आया, इसके नो डाउट निगेटिव रिजल्ट भी रहे हैं, तो पॉजिटिव भी ये हुआ कि अब हमें घर बैठ के लर्निंग करनी आ गई. हम सब लोग कहीं पे भी कोई बैठा हो, पहले सेमिनार होता था, कहीं से किसी को आना है, कहीं पहुंचना है, बड़ा मुश्किल होता था. आज भी मैं माफी चाहूंगा देरी से ज्वाइन करने के लिए. मैं इधर परवाणू आ गया था, मंदिर में महाराज जी से टाइम लिया था, तो थोड़ा सा मीटिंग में लेट हो गया, तो उसके लिए मैं माफी चाहूंगा. तो मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं जैन साहब को कि आप इतना अच्छा काम करते हैं और करते रहिए, और हम आपके हर तरह से साथ हैं, और बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं. थैंक यू जैन साहब.
थैंक यू सर. थैंक्स अ लॉट सर फॉर योर काइंड वर्ड्स.
डॉक्टर चावला जी, हम सब लोगों की तरफ से भी माथा टेक लीजिए.
बिल्कुल सर, मैं आपको मैं अभी दर्शन कराता हूँ. ये माँ कामाख्या का मंदिर है सर यहाँ पे. मतलब ये देखिए, मैं बिल्कुल मंदिर के अंदर ही बैठा हूँ. ये परवाणू है हिमाचल प्रदेश में, जहाँ पे टिम्बर ट्रेल है ना, यहाँ पे महाराज जी हैं. ये ये इतने ज्ञानी हैं कि इन्होंने 10 साल पहले ही भविष्यवाणी कर दी थी मोदी जी के बारे में। मैं अभी इनके पास बैठा था तो इसलिए फोन नहीं ले पाया था। ये इनकी गद्दी है और बहुत बड़ा यहाँ पे ये स्थान है। आप भी कभी कोई आना चाहें तो मैं लेके आऊंगा। मुझे पर्सनली मेरा नंबर सब नोट कर लीजिएगा। किसी का भी मन हो तो आप आइएगा। यहाँ बहुत मतलब अद्भुत चीजें हैं।
वेरी नाइस, थैंक यू।
हाँ, थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pallavi ji, now you can proceed.
Okay. It's so kind of a guest of honor to show up today and lighten the meeting with their presence. From here, we are starting our technical session. Hope all of you pay kind attention and take most benefit of it. Also, attendees, please feel free to drop your question in the chat box, and our speaker can throw some light on it either during the deliberation or towards the end. Calling upon our co-moderator of today's meeting, Ms. Deepa Bhatt. She is an active member and pursuing CS course. Welcome, ma'am. Please take a moment to introduce to our first speaker of the day, CA Devesh Goyal ji.
Hello. Good evening to all our respected chief guests, organizers, and GIPA professionals, speakers, and others present over here. Hello, sir. Are you able to hear? Good evening to all. Good evening to all our respected GIPA professionals, chief guests, organizers, speakers, and others present over here. Today, we all are here to discuss about the corporate law in relation to amendments in the Companies Act 2013 and management of SME IPOs and its implications on the companies and entire public. I would welcome one of our eminent speaker, Mr. Devesh Goyal, sir. Welcome you, sir. A fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He is having an intense expertise in corporate law for the last 8 years. He is a young and progressive practicing company secretary with a zeal to dig deep into the norms of corporate laws. Being a researcher at heart, he has done meticulous research and has penned various articles on the Companies Act 2013 to keep at pace with latest changes and critically dissect with the implications of various provisions of the new Act. He has co-authored the Company Law Premier book published by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He has also added a lot to the issuance of various guidance notes by ICSI. He was a member of the Task Force Committee and Research Committee for 3 years. He is a member of various committees of the Northern Indian Regional Council of Institute of Company Secretaries of India. His articles have been published in the ICSI magazines and are also available on various popular websites relating to corporate law. He has deliberated at several forums on corporate law throughout the country. Over the last 2 years, he has deliberated for more than 150 seminars and penned approximately 700 articles on multiple topics of corporate law. So now let us all hear the valuable words from Devesh sir.
Thank you so much, Deepa ji, for the brief introduction. First of all, I would like to thanks to the Parveen ji and GIPA for giving me an opportunity to interact on such platform and interact with the members. Thank you so much, Parveen ji, for this opportunity. And as everyone said, definitely, sir, you are doing a great job. And thanks for making us part of this great job of sharing of knowledge. And as Raj Chawla sir has already said, definitely this COVID has impacted a lot, but some good things has also developed because of this COVID. Like because of the COVID, now we all are discussing the knowledge sharing webinars, knowledge sharing things through this social media platform, through these webinars. Earlier, there was only seminars platform was there. We were not familiar about the webinar. Even we were not comfortable about the webinars. But in last 2 years, we have learned a lot on this social, we can say online platform. And this online platform are giving us a lot of things. it's saving our time definitely, and it's giving an opportunity to interact with the person throughout the world anywhere. So thank you so much, sir, for running this platform and running this GIPA, so for the sharing of knowledge with everyone. So I will not take much time. My topic today, which has assigned to me, is recent amendment under Companies Act, crucial amendment under Companies Act. I must say, whenever we discuss about the amendment and whenever we will say about the amendment under Companies Act, one thing I always said, New Companies Act 2013. However, it's been 8 years when this Companies Act came into effect. Still, we will say it like a new Companies Act because of the speed of the amendment, because of the phase of the amendment which we are facing since last 8 years. Because every month, every week, we are seeing there are the amendment under Companies Act. Practically, it's not like only companies are getting amended, but along with the Companies Act, many acts are getting amended, like GST, income tax, SEBI, RBI. So on the regular basis, acts are getting amended. But whenever we talk about company law, we know the company law is the core of the corporates. All the acts are running around the company law, whether it is SEBI, whether it is IBC, whether we can say it is RBI. Everything is relating to the company law. First, a corporate, first a businessman have to organize his company, then only all other things will be working. So it is good to know all the amendments under company law, because as a professional, we have to guide to the client on the regular basis. We have to guide to our client, we have to guide to the corporates. So before guiding them, first we should be aware about the amendments. And whatever is the speed of the amendment, it is definitely difficult for the professional also to understand all the amendment. Because of that, all these platforms are helping the professional to learn the new amendment, to learn the new things. So let me start my presentation of today with discussion on the amendments under Companies Act. So whenever we talk about the amendment under Companies Act, the main and major thing came into our mind. What are the amendment? I will just take 5 minutes first to give the background of the Companies Act. As we know, this Companies Act, this new Companies Act 2013 came into effect from 2014. But practically, this Companies Act came into effect on the 12th September 2013. Because 98 section of the Companies Act came into effect from the 12th September 2013. 183 section came into effect from the 1st April. And the remaining section came into effect from the phase by phase and by, we can say, time to time. Since 2021, some section was not into force, which came into effect in 2021. So as we know, the day when this act came, the day when this Companies Act came, there was 470 section under Companies Act. 470 was on 1st April 2021. Can anyone guess how many sections are there under Companies Act as on date? One thing I would like to say to everyone, see, whatever queries you have relation to any topic today, please feel free to ask the queries, because the motto of this session to understand the, we can say, clarity of the concept, whatever we are going to discuss. So when this act came, there was 470 section. But in last 7 years, many section has been deleted, many section has been added. So practically as on date, 470 is not a right number to understand how many section are there under Companies Act. So practically we should understand which was the major deletion and which are the major addition of the section under Companies Act. If I will talk about the major deletion, if I will talk about the major deletion of the section from the Companies Act, so one of the major deletion of the section under Companies Act was due to IBC. When this insolvency bankruptcy code came, lot of sections, lot of provisions of the winding up transfer from the Companies Act to the IBC law. When I will say as on date, there are a very few part of the winding up under Companies Act. Majority part of the we can say winding up has been transferred to the IBC law. So lot of section on the Companies Act from the winding up has been deleted and added under the IBC law. Because of that, this 470 number reduced to a low limit. But then recently we can say on 2021, in 2021 June, one provision has been introduced under Companies Act, that is producer company. We know when this Companies Act 2013 came, and along with the phase of time, we were doing the compliances as per Companies Act. But whenever we have to do the compliance, whenever we have to do the compliance of the producer company, we were studying the, we can say, Companies Act 1956, because the provision of the Companies Act 1956 was applicable on the producer company till 2021. Whoever is having a producer company, whoever want to do the compliance of the producer company, such person was, we can say, following the provisions under Companies Act 1956. But finally, in June 2021, the provisions, the process, we can say, the compliances of the producer company has been introduced under Companies Act 2013. So finally, they have introduced the provision of the producer company under Companies Act 2013 as Section 378A to Section 378ZU. So after Section 378, these almost 45 sections they have added. So as on that, if I will say approximately there under Companies Act are 485 sections. This is approximate number. Definitely, I cannot say these are the fixed number, but these are the approximate number of section under Companies Act 2013. Along with this, many other section has been added, like Section 10A, Declaration of Commencement of Business, Section 446A, 446B. So in last 7 years, the Companies Act has been shuffled a lot. A lot means literally a lot, because if I will say to read the Companies Act as of 1st April 2014 and Companies Act as on date, it's totally different. Because whenever a new act came, amendment definitely come, but the Amendment Act very rarely come. So can anyone guess, in last 7 year of this Companies Act 2013, how many Amendment Act has been passed? Can anyone guess the number of the Amendment Acts passed in last 7 years? I'm not saying the number of notification. I'm not asking for the number of circulars or amendment in the rule, just the Amendment Acts. We know Amendment Act is itself was a big thing, because Amendment Act definitely a big thing, because you are changing lot of things under a act by the Amendment Act. So anyone can give a guess how many Amendment Act has been passed in last 7 years? So as you can see on this slide, if I will say there are 4 Amendment Act has already been passed in this act. Number 1, Companies Amendment, First Amendment Act 2015. Then Companies Second Amendment Act 2017. Then one ordinance came in 2018, and this ordinance became the Companies Third Amendment Act 2019, and finally came Companies Amendment Act, Fourth Amendment Act 2020. So in last 7 years, Ministry has, we can say, government have introduced 4 Amendment Act under Companies Act. Amendment Act 2015, 2017, 2019, then 2020. And by just these 4 Amendment Act, almost 250 sections of the Companies Act has been amended. Just by 4 Amendment Act, 250 section of the Companies Act has been amended. So out of 470, 250 section just amended by this 4 Amendment Act. So we can say almost half of the Companies Act is amended just by 4 Amendment Acts. This is the speed of amendment under Companies Act. And if I will go with the number of the notification and circular, so it is on your screen. I just try to counter. In last 7 years, more than 500 notification has been passed, more than 200 circulars, more than 200 amendment rules has been passed. So if I will say in last 7 years, almost 1,000 notifications, circulars, and amendment rules has been passed. So you can say 1,000 number of notifications, circular, and rules. It is a very big number. These 1,000 number are different to those 4 Amendment Act. 4 Amendment Act are different. These 1,000 number are different. Half Companies Act are amended by those 4 Amendment Act. So remaining half are amended by these 1,000 notification circular. So that's why I said new Companies Act, because if this much amendment will be there, unless this amendment will not stop, every time we will say new Companies Act. Because once this amendment will stop, now then we can say yes, Companies Act has been stable, but now it is not stable. Till now it is not stable. 2021. We consider 2021 as the era of the COVID, year of the COVID. Still under 2021, almost 70 notification has been passed. Almost 70 notification just passed in 2021, when it was a lockdown time, when it was the time of, we can say, COVID era. So even in that time, if they have issued so many notification circular, so definitely we can understand the limit of the amendment in this era. So that's why we can say these programs which are holding by the Parveen are very appreciable, because these programs, these webinars are giving us an opportunity to discuss the amendment, to discuss the provision of the amendment. So thank you so much, sir, for this program, because these are giving a lot of knowledge to the professional about all these amendments. Whenever amendment came, there is a basic question. जब भी amendment आएगा, एक basic question वहां पे always होगा, why there are so many amendment? What is the reason behind this amendment? So if I will, as per my understanding, as per my research, I find out the some reason to why amendments are coming under Companies Act 2013. First reason of that, we can say, is the startup. When this act came in 2013, there was no concept like startup. The concept of startup has been introduced after that. So the concept of startup introduced by the ministry after that. So that's why, due to startup, lot of amendments are coming under Companies Act. Someone mic is mute. Can I just request to please unmute your mic? Due to startup, ministry have.
Yeah. Oh.
Can you just please, the host can please mute the mic of the other person? I was talking about the startup. Due to startup, many amendment has made under Companies Act to give the relaxation to the startup, to promote the startup, to give the benefits under the act to the startup. So startup is one of the reasons for the amendment under Companies Act. Second, to increase the ease of doing business. As we know, ministry or government is working with the concept of ease of doing business. Government is working on the concept in India there should be ease of doing business. So to promote those ease of doing business, promote the business, many amendment has came. Like I just give one or two examples. In India, earlier, if we have to incorporate the company, in earlier time, then there was at least 5 to 6 form we have to file. Just for an incorporation, 5 to 6 form there, and lot of papers was there. But now the concept has been changed. Now companies are getting incorporated just by a single form. Companies are getting incorporated paperless. You don't require to prepare any physical paper to incorporate the company. Earlier, it took 25 to 30 days to incorporate the company, which is now taking within a day or maximum couple of days to incorporate the company. So we can see the ease of doing business under corporate law. So because of this, a lot of amendments are coming under Companies Act. Government are trying to reduce the government interference under Companies Act. Many places they have reduced their we can say interference and giving the power to the corporate itself. Decriminalization of offense. I will just come up on this point later on. Encourage the corporate governance. These days, ministry want that corporates, the company should work as per a corporate governance. Because of that, you must have noticed in last 7 years, ministry came up with a lot of we can say initiatives like to struck off the companies who are not working, who are not doing the compliances, to disqualify the director if they are not properly working. So in last 7 years, many type of concept companies has been ministry has been came because they want to increase the corporate governance in the country. Next, exemptions to the private companies and small companies. Ministry also trying to give the exemptions to the private company and small company to encourage. See, ultimately, the whole motto behind all this amendment, I must say, is to encourage the persons to incorporate the company, to do the business in a corporate form. Definitely, as many person will go for the working in a company form, work as a company, it will help the professionals. So they are increasing for that. So that's why they are giving the exemptions to the private company and small company. 2 exemption notification they have already came on the 5th June 2015 and 13 June 2017. To attract the foreign investors. Government want to get the foreign funds. Government want more and more foreign funds in India. So to attract the foreign investors, also they are making the amendment under Companies Act. Next, we can say to diversify businessmen from the proprietorship firm to partnership firm. As we know, government have done so many amendments so that proprietors and partnership firm to get attract toward the corporate form. That's why they made so many amendments, because they actually want more and more persons start business in the corporate form in India, so that it increase the transparency and the revenue and the economic growth. So these are the certain reason behind amendment. This decriminalization I will just take up after 10-15 minutes. So if I will talk about the amendment, one of the biggest amendment recently made is in the definition of the small company. As we know, small company means a company having a paid up share capital up to 50 lakh and turnover up to rupees 2 crore. This was the definition of the small company, and this was we are using since last 7 years. But now the government have changed the definition. Now the government have we can say relaxed the definition for a lot of companies. As per the new definition, I must say, if as per earlier definition, if 30% of Indian companies was falling under the definition of the small company, then as per new definition, almost 60% of the Indian companies shall fall under the small company. What is the new definition? As per the new definition of the small company means a company other than a public company which having a paid up share capital up to 2 crore at turnover up to 20 crore. Earlier definition turnover was 2 crore, which is increased up to 20 crores. So now lot of more companies this fall under the small company. As I can say, lot of professionals attending this webinar. You must having many clients, you must be auditing for the many clients. Maybe it will definitely happen that some of your client was non-small in last year, but because of this new definition, now they are the small companies. And this definition has already came into effect from the 1st April 2021. From the 1st April 2021, as this definition is already into impact, so lot of companies become the small company. And if so many companies are becoming the small company, the major responsibility on the professional, the biggest responsibility on the professional should be aware. Professional should aware what is the benefit to become a small company, what are the, we can say, relaxation to the small company. Because I just give a one idea to you. Generally, you have listened many times, even I have listened many times, people are saying government are increasing the compliances, government are increasing the penalties. That's why India may companies come incorporate over here. That's why the number of incorporation companies are getting reduced. I must say this is totally wrong statement. If I will talk about the incorporation in India, every day, as per the data of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs in 2021, every day more than 1,000 companies got incorporated under India. Every month, more than 30,000 new companies has been incorporated in India. Or we know, whenever a new company incorporate, 99.9% companies are small companies, because on the date of incorporation, their turnover will not cross 20 crore. And on the date of incorporation, very few companies will be there who will incorporate with 2 crore capital. So 99.9% companies are getting incorporated as a small company. Who are incorporating these companies? We are the professional who are guiding the clients, who are guiding the businessmen to incorporate the company. So we should be aware what is the benefits of the small company, because of the new definition, a lot of companies are become part of the small company. So we should be aware what is the meaning of small company now. So let's see the benefits of the small company. Benefit number 1, lesser number of board meeting. As per section 173, Redwich Secretarial Standard 1, every company is required to hold 4 board meetings in a calendar year. So whether there is any business or not, every company have to hold the 4 board meeting. But in case of small company, it is okay if you hold 2 board meeting. So there is a benefit to the small company. If small company hold 2 board meeting in a financial year, it is enough compliances for a small company. The only thing, the minimum gap between both the meetings should be 90 days. This is the only requirement. Otherwise, small company can hold just 1 board meeting. So just 2 board meeting and the compliances of the board meeting are completed for the small company. Next one, no requirement of the preparation of the cash flow statement. If a company is a small company, then there is no requirement of the preparation of the cash flow statement. So if you have prepared the cash flow statement for a company last year because it was a non-small company, but due to new definition, now that company is falling under the non-small company, you don't require to prepare the cash flow statement. This is the relaxation of the compliance to the small company. Next, no need of certification of any e-form from the practicing professional. This is, we can say, one drawback also, but benefits to the small company. Ministry want to give the benefits to the small companies. For e-forms of the small company, not required to be certified from any professional, whether CS, CA or advocates or CMAs. स्मॉल कंपनीज को कोई भी फॉर्म किसी भी प्रोफेशनल से साइन करवाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Only director DSC are enough to file the e-form of the small company, whether it is AOC4, MGT7, DPT3, MGT14, whatever form. Not even a single form of the small company is required to get certified from the professional. So this is the benefit for them. They don't require to get their form signed from any professional. Next, no need of IFC reporting. Reporting of the internal financial control reporting is not required in the auditor report for the small companies. At-risk director report. This is a very good, we can say, relaxation to the small company. So what is the meaning of at-risk director's report? At-risk director report itself is the meaning director report with the less disclosure, director report with the less disclosures or non. Generally, what happened whenever a company prepare the director's report, then company follow the section 134 subsection 3. They prepare the director report as per section 134 subsection 3 plus rule 8. So as per 134 subsection 3 and rule 8, they give almost 25 to 30 disclosures in the director report. That's why it is a healthy task, or that's why we can say it is a big task to prepare the director report. But for the small company, ministry have introduced the rule 8A of section 134. So if you are preparing a director report for the small company, then you don't require to give the disclosure as per 134.3, and you don't require to give the disclosure as per rule 8. You just give the disclosure as per rule 8A. And as per rule 8A, only 10 to 11 disclosures are there in the director report of the small company. So it is also a benefit to the small companies. Non-applicability of the provision of the rotation of auditor. We know as per section 139 of the Companies Act 2013, in case of an individual auditor, he can audit the company for maximum tenure of 1 tenure of 5 years, and in case of audit firm, maximum 2 tenure of 5 years. But if you are an auditor, if you are a statutory auditor of a small company, then there is no provision of the rotation of auditor, because rotation of auditor does not applicable on the small companies. So small companies can continue with the same auditor for as many as year they want. There is nothing like, we can say, rotation of auditor. So there is no provision of rotation of auditor on the small companies. At-risk annual return. So there is also one benefit to the small company. At-risk annual return means annual return with small, we can say, lesser disclosure. Since 2013, whenever we pay annual return of a small company, so in 2013, whenever we prepare the direct annual return of the small company, we prepare it from MGT7, because MGT7 is the annual return for the small company. But this year, recently in the last year, ministry have introduced MGT7A. They have introduced MGT7A for the director's report or annual return of the small companies. So as per MGT7A, if you want to prepare the annual return of the small company, you have to prepare in MGT7A. So this year, generally what happened, generally हम annual filing discuss करते हैं in the month of October and November. But this year, due to COVID, this year, due to COVID provision, we are discussing the annual filing in the month of October, January also, because this year ministry have increased. This year ministry have given the relaxation for the companies to file AOC 4 till 15 February and MGT 7 till 28 February. So if any of your company has still not filed the annual return, I'm just giving you a tip. If your company is a small company, then please file MGT 7A instead of MGT 7. And best thing about this form is prepared on the basis of the artificial intelligence. What is the meaning of the artificial intelligence for this form? If your company is a non-small company and you try to fill MGT 7A, once you mention the SR and pre-fill it, it will give an error that your company is a non-small company. You are not allowed to file this form. So this is the benefit of small company. Now next, biggest benefit of the small company is on your screen. We know lot of penalties has been increased under many provision under Companies Act. Under Companies Act, Ministry have increased the penalty on the lot of sections, but there is a benefit to the small company. Ministry came up with a new section, that is 446B. 446B is giving a benefit to the small company. The benefit is that if you are a small company, then maximum penalty which can be imposed on the company is rupees 2 lakh, and maximum penalty which can impose on the directors is rupees 1 lakh. So there are the so many sections where there are the penalty of 25 lakh, 50 lakh, 1 crore. Instead of those penalty, in case of small company, ministry have to follow the section 446B. So this is the biggest benefit to the small company. Next amendment in the 1% company. As we know, the concept of the 1% company is not much popular in India. It is a popular concept, but that is not much popular in India. There was a certain reason because of that this concept is not very much popular in India. So ministry finally find out those things and finally came up with the concept, that is amendment in the 1% company. The first restriction was in OPC was only an Indian resident who is citizen of India can incorporate the 1% company. So if a NRI want to work in India and on NRI want to start a business in India, he can start only in the form of company. But he was not allowed to incorporate the 1% company. He was allowed only for the normal type of company. And for that purpose, he was required one partner. He was required one person as a director from India. So this was a restriction. Now, if a person want to company incorporate in India, he don't want any partner, but he was not having any opportunity. So now ministry have given the relaxation. The relaxation is that in case of 1% company, with effect from 1st April 2021, with effect from 1st April 2021, even NRI can also incorporate the 1% company in India. So we can say this is a big benefit. Now, if NRI coming to you and want to know how to start up and how to start business in India, you can guide them that they can incorporate the 1% company in India. Second thing, generally we know who is resident of India. Resident of India means a person who has been in India for 120 days in the preceding financial year. But for the 1% company, if a person in India for 120 days in the previous financial year, he will consider as a resident of India. Third amendment. Earlier there was a provision, if a 1% company reaches up to turnover of 2 crore or crores the turnover of rupees 2 crore, then such 1% company was mandatory for such 1% company to convert itself into any other type of company. Because of this reason, many person in India was not incorporating the 1% company. Because generally what happened, many time a businessman want to start the business, but such businessmen don't want to make anyone partner in his business, whether his family members, whether his relatives. So he don't want anyone to be the partner in his business. Because of that, he started a business as a proprietorship concern. However, such person want to do the business in the company, but that person is not doing the business in the company forum because that person is not doing the business in the company forum because there are the certain restrictions that after 2 crore such person has to convert his company into another type of company. So now ministry have removed this restriction as per the latest provision with effect from 1st April 2015. Sorry, 1st April 2021. Whatever is your turnover, if you don't want to convert, you no need to convert. You can we can say you can work as a OPC. Means 1st April 2020 onwards, even if your turnover is 2 crore, 20 crore, 200 crore, 2000 crore, but you want to continue as a one-person company, you can continue as a one-person company. No one will impose the restriction you to convert into the different type of company. OPC can be converted. Earlier, there was a provision after incorporation, an OPC cannot be converted into other type of business up to 2 years. But now there is no restriction. If you incorporate the company today, you want to convert it into another type tomorrow, you are allowed for it. There is no such restriction on the same. So these are the certain provisions under Companies Act 2013, which are the latest, we can say, amended by the ministry. And the next, if I would like to say, next amendment is holding of board meeting through video conferencing. One thing. Deepaji, up to what time we are having the time to discussion on the amendments? परवीन जी, हम कितने देर तक ये डिस्कशंस कर सकते हैं अमेंडमेंट्स का सेकंड सेशन शुरू होने से पहले?
Sir, you can take another 10-15 minutes.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So another amendment is the holding of board meeting through video conferencing. As we know, when this Companies Act 2013 came with effect from 1st April 2014, there was a concept under Companies Act, the concept of the holding of board meeting through the video conferencing. So this concept was there under Companies Act 2013, the holding of board meeting through video conferencing. But the issue was that this concept was there, but as we discussed in the starting of this webinar, people was not much familiar with the provision of the holding of meeting through online, because earlier even we was not familiar to hold the online session. Same director was not familiar to hold the board meeting through video conferencing. So this concept was not popular, but in last year, this concept became very popular due to COVID. Due to COVID, physical meeting was not possible. Due to COVID, it was not possible to travel from one place to another place. So last 2 years, now everyone is familiar about the video conferencing meeting. So in 2013 Act, video conferencing concept was there since inception, but there was a restriction. There was a restriction as per Rule 4 of the company's meetings and board and its power rules. According to that rule, companies can hold the video conferencing board meeting, but cannot discuss some agendas. There was a restriction on discussion of the some agendas in the video conferencing board meeting. Agenda like discussion on the financial statement. Financial statement cannot be discussed in the video conferencing board meeting. Discussion on the mergers letting resolutions, takeovers, prospectus. These type of resolution was not allowed in the video conferencing board meeting. But finally, on the 15th June 2021, Ministry came with an amendment, the company's meeting of boards and its power amendment rule 2021. According to these provisions, now they have omitted the section. Sorry, they have omitted the rule 4 from the Companies Act. It is completely omitted, means with effect from 15 June 2021, there is no restriction of any agenda to be discussion in the board meeting of the video conferencing. With effect from the 15 June 2021, whatever agenda you want to discuss in the board meeting of the video conferencing, you can discuss. There is no issue. So now onwards, if you want to hold the board meeting for any type of agenda, you are allowed to hold that. You don't have to see any restriction on the same. One notification came on the 28th August 2021. That is like company's appointment and qualification of directors amendment rules. We know Ministry came with the concept of the independent data director bank in 2018. According to this concept, a person who has registered his name with the data bank of the independent director and who has cleared the exam of the independent director, that is proficiency test, is eligible to appoint and continue as an independent director. मतलब आपको इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर बनना है तो आपको क्या बोलते हैं, डाटा बैंक में अपना नाम रजिस्टर करवाना पड़ेगा और आपको प्रोफिशिएंसी टेस्ट पास करना पड़ेगा. अगर आप दोनों कंडीशन फुलफिल करते हैं, then you can be appointed as an independent director of the company. Otherwise, you are not allowed. But ministry ने कुछ persons को to some category of person they have given the exemption that these category of person don't require to pass the proficiency test. Like if a director having the qualification, having experience of 10 years in the listed company, such person not required to pass the proficiency test. So recently ministry have given one more list of exemptions who don't require to pass proficiency test. Following individuals having qualification for at least 10 years as company secretary, chartered accountant, cost accountant, advocate of the court are not required to pass the proficiency test. Means if you are a company secretary or chartered accountant or advocate or cost accountant and you are having the qualification of more than 10 years, then you don't require to pass the proficiency test. You can directly register with the data bank and you can directly become the director, independent director in the company. Then on the 22nd July 2021, Ministry have issued the notification of commencement of Section 4 of the Companies Amendment Act 2021. According to this section, if any owner of the registered trademark, the name which is identical to our name, means we know whenever a person want to incorporate the company, there are the guidelines, there are the name guidelines under Companies Act. Persons have to follow those name guidelines. Sometimes what happened, we have incorporated a company, we have used a prefix, we have used a prefix, and that prefix is the trademark of someone else. In that case, the owner of the trademark having the power to make an application to the registrar of regional director within 3 years from the date of incorporation or change of name by the company. So power is lying with the trademark owner for the 3 years that he can make the application to the regional director. And he is having time period of 3 years from the date of incorporation of change of name for making this application. On receiving of application from the trademark owner, regional director will forward this application to the company to change of name. And company have to change its name within a period of 3 months from the date of receiving of the notice. If company don't change their name within 3 months from the date of the receiving of the notice, then ROC, registrar of regional director itself change the name of the company as following. For an example, if name of your company was ABC Limited, ABC Private Limited, and you receive the notice, but you have not changed the notice, then name of your company in the master data of the company shall be changed like this: ABC Private Limited, order of the regional director not compliant under Section 16 of the Companies Act. So you can see it will definitely impact your position. It will definitely impact your company on the database of the ministry that your company is not compliant with their notice. So we have to be very careful whenever we have received such type of notice. MCA has issued the company specific definition details second amendment rules 2021 on 19 Feb. On 19 February, they have issued this rule. According to this, they have given relaxation to some companies from the definition of the listed company. Means earlier some companies were falling under the definition of the listed companies. Because of that, they have to follow the SEBI compliances also. But now ministry have removed some companies from the definition of the listed company. So now those companies as a whole not required to comply with the SEBI provisions. Now new definition, listed company means a company which has any of its security listed of any recognized stock exchange. These rules came from the 1st April 2020. New rules has been added to the company specification rule. अब benefits क्या होगा अगर आपका नाम इस definition से हट गया है? No need of e-voting, no need of website disclosure, no need of filing of report of AGM, no need of secretarial audit, women director up to certain limits. So according to new definition, all public companies, practically private, are now out of the preview of the definition of listed company. All public companies which have listed their equity share on the recognized stock exchange shall be considered as a listed company, except listed their non-convertible debenture security on private placement basis. If a company has listed only their non-convertible debenture, then such company is out of the preview of the listed company. Listed their non-convertible redeemable preference share. If only non-convertible redeemable preference shares are listed, such companies out of the preview of the definition of listed company. Which has not listed equity share on a recognized stock exchange, still out of the definition. Private companies which have listed their debt securities are also out of the preview of the definition of listed company. So all these companies are now out of the preview of the definition of listed companies. Next, producer company. As we have already discussed, on the 11th February 2021, Ministry have notified the sections of the producer company, and they have added section 378A to section 378ZU in the definition of the listed company. So in the definition of the producer company. So now producer companies provisions are there under the Companies Act 2013. One more provision, one last provision, SMC. As you all are the chartered accountant, you are very well aware about the concept small and medium companies, that is SMC according to the accounting standard. If your company is the SMC company, then you have to, there are some relaxation from the some accounting standard to your company. So now Ministry have changed the definition of the small SMC companies and increase the preview of the SMC company. So now wider set of companies can avail the benefit, can given the greater flexibility. New definition of the SMC means whose equity share and debts are listed. This was same like earlier. Who is not a bank, financial institution, same earlier, but whose turnover does not exceed rupees 250 crore. Earlier it was 50 crore. Now a company having turnover 250 crore, up to 250 crore, such companies shall be considered as a SMC. Earlier only the small companies having turnover up to 50 crore was SMC. Who does not have borrowing excess of 50 crore. Earlier it was 10 crore. So we can say now a lot of companies will fall under the SMC, and the benefit will be to us, so that there will be the less compliance on the such SMC companies. So these are the certain amendment. These are the certain we can say important amendment which we have discussed about the Companies Act. So these amendment we should focus, because these amendment are we have to tackle on our day-to-day regular life, like small company. We all are handling so much small companies, so regular basis we have to work from them. Offices, lot of offices are there. Now we have discussed about the new definition of the SMC. Due to new definition, now many more companies will fall under SMC, so they will also get the benefit of the relaxation of the accounting standard on the SMCs. Like independent director, now if we are the CACS and we are 10-year qualified, then we don't require to give any exams of the independent director. So these are the certain crucial amendments, certain recent amendment under Companies Act. Hope it was clear to everyone. If anyone still have any query, you can ask to me. Now I will hand over the mic to the guys.
Anyone having any questions? Maybe. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for a wonderful deliberation. Now I will request my co-host Deepa ji to introduce our second speaker of the day, Pooja ma'am.
Hi, good evening all. Deepa madam, shall I start? Good evening.
Now I welcome our Pooja madam to share her thoughts and knowledge about the corporate law. She is the company secretary and an IP professional and currently working as a freelancer in Ludhiana, Punjab, and remotely working for many companies across India. She worked with Hero Steels Limited for 6.5 years and with Oswald Group for nearly 5 years. She is actively involved in IPOs at SME platform of Bombay Stock Exchange. Thank you, madam. So, welcome, madam.
Hi, good evening all.
You can share your valuable.
Today I am entrusted with the responsibility to present management of SME IPO in front of all learned and qualified professionals like you all. I take it as a privilege and to start upon the topic management of SME IPO. Here in this presentation, in this interaction with you for half and 45 minutes, I would like to discuss 3 questions. First is, what is IPO? Why should we go for IPO? And how should we go for it?
Excuse me, ma'am. There's some disturbance. Your voice is echoing, I guess.
Just a second, give me a moment. I hope I'm audible now. Voice is clear?
Ma'am, voice is still cracking. No, ma'am, it's cracking.
But I'm getting your voice of you all very.
Your voice is very clear. I think there might be some problem with Deepa, ma'am. Your voice is clear.
It's clear for others?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Chalo, I'll start with the beginning. Now my topic is management of SME IPO. Here I will answer 3 questions. What is IPO? Why should we go for it? And how should we go for it? Apart from the topic management of SME IPO, I would like to discuss some steps, the point which we need to convince, which we need to ask entrepreneur to convince for IPO. I think this is the major thing. Before managing an IPO, we need to have a project in hand. And especially in this SME IPO, we have to deal with little unorganized sector, Lala-based company. We need to take care of this thing also. So now the first question is, what is IPO? As we all know, IPO is a process where an unlisted company sells its share to the public for the first time. It's a process where the investors, they take the benefit of whatever progress a company is doing. So now the next thing is benefits. See, just wait, I'll share the screen. Benefit for listing. See, no matter we are going for main board, no matter we are going for SME platform, there are certain benefits which a listed company enjoy. First is, after being listed in SME platform, there are much relaxed norms like listing norms, the compliance, it's much less in SME platform compared to main board. There are less compliances as well for SME platform. Moreover, increase information, whatever, see, during the IPO process, there are detailed project report and each and every part of business. हमारा project क्या है और हमारा business क्या है, we prepare detailed project report. So that helps us in benchmarking ourselves in terms of credit rating and all. After being listed, we get easy access to capital market and we have financial opportunities as well. Like once we are listing, it's not only the company which is looking forward for investment, but investors also look forward for a good company. So a hunt for capital, it is reduced to some extent, or we get the debt also at a very economical rate. Next is reduced cost of borrowing. Yes, if we get ourselves listed, if we perform well at SME level, our credit rating increases and debt from the market that can be fetched at cheaper rates. Stakeholders' comfort also get increased. like here in Punjab, I'll say, छोटा सा vendor है, he is more comfortable with dealing in a company. भाई वो company है, that is a private company. So if it is a listed company, stakeholders' comfort level also enhances. Value creation, yes, after listing, our money, our currency, our shares, it works like a currency. We can get it, we can issue ESOP shares, we can use it as a collateral security for collateral security while taking debt and all. So we can use our shares as a currency. There is tax benefit as well. There is no tax on capital infusion, equity capital infusion. Apart from that, buyback of shares also do not attract any tax if your shares are listed. Visibility, profile building, once you are listed, our image in the market enhances, and in a way it builds a profile. And corporate governance, see, once a company is listed, we have a dedicated person for compliances and all. So that give us enhanced corporate governance, our internal system, internal policy, everything gets streamlined. So these are the benefits of listing. Apart from benefit, there are some demerits also for listing. If anyone can tell me what are the demerits of listing? It's on the screen. It's equity dilution. Although it's not demerit as such, but yes, our equity get dilated once we go for listing. It's either in main board or SME platform everywhere. Lots of choices are available in the market for listing. We can go for main board, NSE, BSE, then SME platform. So we need to decide on the basis of this eligibility. There are two platforms for SME listing. One is with BSE, another is with SME. For BSE listing, we need to have net tangible asset should be 1.5 crores. And the post-issue capital of the company should not be more than 25 crore. This thing is in both of the stock exchange with BSE and NSE. Positive net worth should be, we should have a positive net worth for BSE listing, SME platform. Company or firm which have been converted into company should have combined positive cash accruals in any year, but out of last 3 years, and its net worth should be positive. Here in BSE, we have an option, either the company, there is a company which will be converted, or if it's not a company, that concern, that entity can be converted into company, and then we can get it listed. Same way for NSE platform, track record of at least 3 years is required. Post-issue capital, again, it cannot be more than 25 crores, and the issuer should be a company incorporated under any of the Act 56 or 2013. The company should have operating profit, earning before interest, depreciation, and tax from operations for at least 2 out of 3 financial years preceding the application, and its net worth should be positive. Here, these are the points for main point for eligibility criteria for listing. Here, I in one of the discussion with my merchant banker, they were saying like unka conception kya hai? Company need to have a business in hand. And profitability. आपको सिर्फ बॉम्बे वाले मर्चेंट बैंकर का तो एक वर्ड यूज करते हैं धंधा. आपका धंधा क्या करते हो बॉस? अगर वो प्रॉफिटेबल है, वो उसके अंदर कुछ दिख रहा है, तो यू कैन गो फॉर लिस्टिंग विद एनी ऑफ द प्लेटफॉर्म. Now, once we have decided for listing on any of the platform, we need to have some processes for this listing process. First is restructuring of pre-IPO capital. This is before listing. We need to restructure our capital. We need to build a space for authorized capital. I mean, we are going to listing, we'll get some of the capital. We need to have space. And also sometimes we have reserve and surplus in our account. So many companies don't want to share that with incoming shareholders. So they issue bonus shares. This is restructuring of capital. We need to do before listing. Due diligence pre-IPO preparation. This is the lead managers, they do due diligence for at least 5 years, they do it. And then pre-IPO preparation. Pre-IPO preparation is a very, very huge thing. It's like, see, in today's scenario, many of the companies are 100% compliant. They try to even. But when they were way back, when they were incorporated in 90s and 80s, at that time, they were not at all compliant. Even promoters, they didn't knew, okay, we have to do these things. So in this pre-IPO preparation, we have to prepare record right from incorporation. So that is a big thing. We don't have any documents in hand. We don't have any forms, but we need to record proper records since incorporation. For that, we visit ROC offices, take files from there, whatever we have filed, and with the available data, we maintain this record, everything, minutes, register of charges, shareholders register and all. Then is valuation of issue pricing. Yes, we need to value the shares. It should not be overpriced and it should not be underpriced. Preparation of draft prospectus. It's also a huge thing. Preparation, it's whatever is written in the prospectus, even a single point line, we need to have a proper backup of that particular thing in our hand. It's not our work, merchant banker do it, but still merchant banker is dependent on us for providing them information. Then appointment of different intermediaries. IPO is not a single-handed person's job. It's a teamwork. So we need to appoint different intermediaries, like आपका registrar of issue है, you will appoint share transfer agent, merchant banker, auditor. We need to have many intermediaries. उनका साथ appointment agreement sort out करना, then उनकी remuneration decide करना, then marketing strategies. How marketing strategies includes many things. कि आपने कैसे आपका IPO will be funded, it will be own funded or market funded. I mean, what project you have in hand for which you are collecting money. Preparation and filing of draft prospectus with exchange. Whatever you have filed, whatever you have prepared, you will file that prospectus with stock exchanges. Issue pricing, allocation, you have to decide issue price and on which basis allocation of shares will be done. Listing and market making. Finally, listing will be done after your prospectus is approved both by SEBI and stock exchange. Market making is again a very good concept. I'll explain you it a bit later. Apart from these things, there are many other things which need to be taken care of in IPO, increase in authorized capital, then appointment of intermediaries, preparation of restated accounts. Whatever financials we have filed with ROC, उनको एक restated form में वो prepare होते हैं by peer review auditor. And last financial year का जो आपके financials है, that will be re-audited. Dematerialization of shares, since it's a public company, we need to take care of this dematerialization. For dematerialization, we need to have agreement with CDSN or NSDL. Then we have to sign tri-party agreement. This is for dematerialization. Pre-IPO preparation done. Stock exchange approval to the basis of allotment. Whatever आपने कैसा करना है, प्रीमियम पे करना है, कितने प्रीमियम पे करना है, that we need to get it approved from stock exchange. Appointment of managing director, CS, CFO, these are the members of the board sort of. We know many companies don't have them, nahi hai unki requirement, whatever, but since it's going to be listed company, we need to appoint this. We need to appoint independent director. आपका जो board है सारा, we need to restructure that board before going for IPO. इसमें appointment of the formation of different committees, taking taking shareholders approval for IPO. Many times we have to adopt new memorandum, new article. We have to increase our borrowing limits. So these are some of the small steps we need to take during the IPO process. We need to finalize object of the issue. We are collecting money from the market for what? We want it for working capital. We want it for setting another business. We need to have that project also. Uski bhi detailed project report banti hai and submitted with stock exchanges. Taking NOC from the lenders. At present, companies lending from banks or from anywhere. We need to take no objection certificate from them. Constitution of statutory committees. Application of ISIN. ISIN number means it's a number which we get when we take connectivity from CDSL or NSDL for getting our shares dematerialized. So these are some of the things. I told you about market making. Here I would like to discuss one practical example. I have done in one of my 2 IPOs. What happened? A company, in one company, IPO was subscribed 5 times. In another company, IPO was struggling. It was not, it even didn't subscribe. So promoter did it on their own. But now, in second scenario where IPO was not subscribed, it was struggling, company did market making. Means after listing, they appointed merchant banker for 2 years for taking care of their shares. How they take care of their shares? कि जस्ट आपको financials इस वे प्रिपेयर करना है, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऊपर नीचे इतनी शो करनी है, आपको शेयर प्राइस वो मेंटेन रखते हैं बाइंग सेलिंग करके. तो सो our process do not end at the time of listing. आपने मनी इकट्ठा किया मार्केट से, प्रोसेस खत्म नहीं. इट्स अ नेवर एंडिंग प्रोसेस. आप मार्केट मेकिंग के थ्रू में you will stabilize your share, you will increase your share price by showing profitability, showing dividend. This is a market making process जो IPO से भी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. एक बार करके you will not finish it up. आपको सारा प्रोसेस आगे करना है. This is timeline for IPO. File draft letter of offer with SEBI. ठीक है, once we'll file the prospectus, आपको SEBI will give you observation. Within 30 days of the observation, you need to file prospectus with, you need to file modified prospectus with SEBI. Then within 30 days, you have to file that prospectus with ROC. Now, here 2 conditions are there. Within 12 months of observation from SEBI, you'll open the issue. And here, after approval from ROC, within 3 days, you'll open the issue. And within 90 days of filing with ROC. And your issue will be open for 3 to 10 working days. Here, what practically I have seen, though here it's written that we'll give time to ROC, but practically we don't give much time to ROC for this approval of prospectus. Because once we'll go to ROC na, ROC ने हर एक पॉइंट पे ये कैसे किया, ये क्यों किया, मैं नहीं करता, go for compounding, this and that. So we don't give much time to ROC. 3 दिन में 2 दिन में फटाफट सर ये अप्रूव करना है, कैसे भी करना है, जस्ट हमारा 3 दिन में इशू नहीं होगा तो everything will be spoiled. So वहां पर थोड़ा सा प्ले करना पड़ता है. Next is, this is as per merchant banker. Normally IPO process takes time. Either it's an SME or main board. आपको 7, 8, 9 months लगते हैं, depending आपको क्या क्या बीच में प्रॉब्लम है. Normally merchant banker उनकी timeline, expected timeline क्या है? Conversion of a company into private limited company. If company is private, we need to convert that into public company. उसके लिए for filing documentation, submission, alteration of memorandum, 7 days from the starting. एक timeline है, we need to complete this. ROC approval, 9th day तक we'll have to take that approval. Identification and appointment of RTA. RTA is the one who take care of shares after listing. उनको appoint करना. Submission of master creation form. Master creation form is for taking connectivity from CDSL and NSDL for getting dematerialization of shares. Then appointment of managing director, whole time director, 14th till 14th day we have to get it done. Constitution of committees including audit, shareholder, grievance committee. This committee we need to form till 17th day. We expect will form this committee or unka composition and everything will get prepared. Preparation of website of the company and hosting code of conduct on the website. 21st day tak we should do this. Signing of tri-party agreement. It's agreement with CDSL or NSDL and our share transfer agent and with the company regarding shares. Yeah, after listing, these firm will be taking care of our shares, transfer and all. Identification of appointment of peer review auditor. This also takes time. हमारा peer review auditor आपका restatement के लिए of financial for last 5 years और current year का आपका audit के लिए. Appointment of merchant banker, market maker. This is basically the first step. Starting ही हम merchant banker appointment से करते हैं. Preparation of project report and prospectus. Till 33rd day, we should complete this. Filing of draft prospectus with stock exchange along with application. ये 38th day तक we should do this. Clear and Clearance from stock exchange, 75th day from the start of this IPO process. Filing of prospectus with ROC and getting it cleared till 80th day. Filing of final prospectus with stock exchange, 87th day. Opening of issue, it's open for 3 days from 90th to 93 day. Finalization of, just a moment. Finalization of basis of allotment by RTA and submitted to stock exchange. We'll do it till 96th day. RTA and issue to process corporate action to carry out lock-in. After listing, the promoter shares are locked in for a period of 3 years. So for that also we need to do paperwork that will be done till 96th day. Corporate action with NSDL, CDS and demat credit of shares. आपको अरेंजमेंट प्रायर अरेंजमेंट करना है कि वंस योर शेयर्स विल बी लिस्टेड, जो शेयर्स आपने शेयर होल्डर को देने हैं दैट विल बी इन डीमैट फॉर्म. उसके लिए 97th डे तक विल डू ऑल अरेंजमेंट्स. Filing of listing application with stock exchange and to give listing and trading permission till 98th day. Post issue advertisement in English, Hindi newspaper, English, Hindi, and it's Bengali, not its regional language, wide circulation within 10 days of completion of all the activities. Ye 98th day. Then receipt of trading approval from exchange with 99th day tak we should receive it. So this is the broad timeline which is given by merchant banker, which we show to our the entrepreneur while convincing them, sir, this is the way. And mostly we try to do it this way only, but kuch na kuch ad jata hai, so things get delayed. Otherwise, normally we try to do it in this timeline. After listing, once we are listed on SME platform, then we have option to migrate to main board. So for BSE, for NSE, for both of them, there are different conditions. In case of BSE SME exchange, it is mandatory for the company to be listed and traded on BSE SME platform for a period of 2 years. We should be listed on SME at least for a period of 2 years to be eligible for main board migration. Post issue capital should be between 10 to 25 crores. We need to have shareholder approval for this listing for migration. Then we have to fulfill the main board. We need to satisfy the eligibility criteria as given in SEBI. It's nothing but simple things which we need to follow. But mainly ये है 2 years का हमारा trade record होना चाहिए और capital should be 10 to 25 crores and we need to have shareholder approval for listing. In the case of listing to main board NSE, here we need to have a minimum listed period of 1 year. We need to have minimum shareholders of at least 200. We need to have shareholder approval, special resolution. We need to have a track record of 3 years and 70% of our capital should be from qualified institutional buyers. Minimum promoter contribution should be 20%, which will be locked in for a period of 3 years. SME IPO expenses. These are tentative expenses. It varies from merchant banker to merchant banker. It varies from BSE to NSE board. But just I'll give you a brief, just to give an idea. कि कितना होना चाहिए. There are expenses at different stages. आपको lead manager appoint करना है, advisor की fees देनी है, RTA fees. काफी पार्ट इसका फीस की फॉर्म में भी है टू गवर्नमेंट लाइक सेबी एंड ऑल प्रोस्पेक्टस लिस्टिंग के लिए. टोटल इसका इन ऑल खर्चा आप 5 to 6 करोड़ के लिए लगभग 35 lakhs के करीब खर्चा. इट इंक्लूड्स फीस, इट इंक्लूड लिस्टिंग फीस, इट इंक्लूड्स एवरी सॉर्ट ऑफ फीस प्लस 5%, near about 4 to 5% expenditure is for underwriting of shares. एक general idea I am giving, it can vary depending upon many factors. Post-listing compliances for SME platform. I am going it through quickly because we are running short of time. Listing compliances for SME platform. It is less compared to main board compliances. Normally in main board compliances are on quarterly basis. But here at SME level, it's on half-yearly basis. We need to give certain notices for board meeting for different things which we are taking for different approvals. Notice of book closure and record date. This is done once in a year. And notice in advance of record date. 7 working days. Notice of board meeting for main things like dividend, bonuses, FPO, buyback. It's 2 clear working days notice हमको देना है for notice of board meeting. 7 clear days noting is to be given where financials are to be considered. And outcome of board meeting is to be intimated to be stock exchange within 15 minutes. Recommendation of cash, declaration of cash bonuses at least 5 days before the commencement of the date. This we need to take care of. These are not much compliances. It is a company secretary take care of everything. एक आपको person बिठा के रखना है. From entrepreneur point of view, these are not much compliances. Annual report is to be submitted as soon as it is issued. Financial result. Shareholding pattern half yearly within 21 days from end of the half year. Financial results half yearly, it should be sent within 15 minutes from closure of the meeting in a specified format. Financial, it should be accompanied by a limited review report and submitted within 45 days from end of the half year. Second half year ke liye again, for that 60 days are given for completion. This need to be accompanied by audit report within 60 days from end of the half. Corporate governance report within 50 days from end of each quarter. Reconciliation of share capital within 1 month from end of the each quarter. This is to be obtained from practicing company secretary and practicing chartered accountant. Now, these things you'll come to know. You'll read once you'll go through Google and this loader, and so you'll come to know everything. A practical example, it happened with me recently. I just wanted to share it with you. A person came to me, entrepreneur, whose turnover of its company was 55 crores. Profit after tax was 1.5 crores and net worth was 5 crores. Company is in fastening business and is willing for IPO. यहाँ पे and promoter coming in a new finance 2 crore Mercedes car. How I came to know, I filed CHG1 a day before. So after taking into consideration this particular figures, क्या आपके mind में आता है? क्या कितनी बड़ी company है? क्या है? If anyone can brief or discuss. Are I here or I'm speaking and no one is listening? Is anyone here?
No, your voice is clear.
हाँ, ये आपको अगर मैं बोलूं एक कंपनी का टर्नओवर इज 55 करोड़, पैट उसका 155 करोड़ है, कंपनी साल में कमा रही है, वो 2 करोड़ की प्रमोटर मर्सिडीज फाइनेंस में बैठ के आ रहा है, कहते हैं मैडम मुझे आईपीओ करना है, तो इस पे फाइनेंशियल देख के कोई कुछ बोल पाएगा कि क्या कैसा बिजनेस है, ये क्या है?
वेरी साउंड बिजनेस है.
पल्लवी मैडम, आर यू स्पीकिंग समथिंग? यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल.
Ma'am, it's sound business.
चलो, I'll tell you. See, a company 55 करोड़ का है, प्रॉफिट है 1.5 करोड़. डू यू थिंक, और वो भी ये बोल रहे हैं कि नहीं मैम हमारा बहुत अच्छा प्रॉफिट हुआ है, लास्ट टाइम बिकॉज ऑफ कोविड कम था, दिस ईयर वी हैव अर्न्ड वेल. विल एनी बिजनेस सर्वाइव? कितना इसमें 2.56% है, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पे कोई बिजनेस सर्वाइव करेगा? और मर्सिडीज कार फाइनेंस कार आ रही है, तो कोई भी इस इतने प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पे काम करेगा दैट टू इन अ फास्टिंग बिजनेस? सो क्या है, सीधे सीधे इससे व्हाट आई फिगर इट आउट कि प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी इज मच हायर, कंपनी बड़ी है, बट ऑन बुक्स ऑन रिकॉर्ड्स दे आर नॉट शोइंग इट. तो प्रमोटर के माइंड में क्या है कि मेरा बहुत बड़ा बिजनेस है, मेरे को तो आईपीओ करना है, बट फाइनेंशियल्स उसके क्या शो कर रहे हैं? प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऑफ 2.5 or 6%. No doubt company has shown good profit numbers, but it's just 2.7% of the turnover. No company can work over profit margin of just 2.7%. There I'm sure margins हैं, but they are not sure. अब इनको क्या एडवाइस करना चाहिए? if company, actual scenario is if company would have shown their exit number in balance sheet, they would have gone with a IPO size of 10 to 15 crores. I am talking about SME platform यहाँ पे. So, but with a profitability of just 1.5 crores, उनका जो comfortable issue size है, that will dip to 3.3 to 4 crores. With these figures, balance sheet figures, वो market में 3 से 4 करोड़ रुपए से ज़्यादा they cannot fetch. अब एक इंसान जो is coming in a Mercedes of 2 crores, वो 3 से 4 करोड़ में interested होगा ही नहीं. What I think, what I analyze. So at this stage, what I and with 3 to 4 crore जो market से ले सकते हैं, 30% equity will be diluted. उनको if I'll advise, सर आपका प्रॉफिट्स हैं, आप बुक्स में शो करिए, धीरे धीरे शो करिए, वो भी नहीं कर सकते. एकदम से प्रॉफिट शो करेंगे, इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट नहीं छोड़ेगा. भाई ऐसे क्या जादू हो गया कि एकदम से इतनी बढ़ गई उनको. तो उनको एडवाइस, व्हाट आई एडवाइस, मैंने उनको बोला सर एट दिस टाइम यू गो फॉर सेल्फ फंडेड आईपीओ. आपको अपनी इक्विटी डाइल्यूट नहीं करनी पड़ेगी मार्केट में, एंड यू कम टू एसएमई प्लेटफॉर्म. ऑन एसएमई प्लेटफॉर्म आप मार्केट मेकिंग करो, अपना स्टेबिलिटी शो करो, अपने आप अपना डिविडेंड्स दो, अपने बैलेंस शीट में प्रॉफिट, एंड वंस यू विल बी अप टू द मार्क, जो आप हो उतनी आपकी बैलेंस शीट हो जाएगी, देन गो फॉर मेन बोर्ड आईपीओ. So here I just want to highlight कि this is the problem in SME IPO. यहाँ पर जो आपको एंटरप्रेन्योर मिलेगा, that will be less organized, one man company, bow sort of company मिलेगी. वहां पे you will be the one man show. आपको मैनेज करना है इंटरनली आपके बाउ को, एंटरप्रेन्योर को. उनको नहीं पता इतने कंप्लायंसेस क्या हैं, लिस्टिंग के फायदे नुकसान क्या है, they don't know. You have to tell them and you have to bring them up to the level of listing. ठीक है, सुन लेना, लिस्टिंग करनी है, शेयर लाना और एक्चुअली लाने में देयर आर लॉट्स ऑफ डिफरेंसेस. तो यू नीड, बीइंग अ प्रोफेशनल, यू नीड टू फिल दैट गैप. सो आई थिंक this is the thing, these are the little experience which I have about IPO, which I have shared with you. If correct me if I am wrong anywhere, if anyone would like to add anything. Last but not the least, I want to thank Mr. Praveen GIPA for giving me a platform where I can speak, where I can share my experience. I am into practice from last 3-4 months and he gave me an opportunity. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, GIPA.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful deliberation.
Anyone can ask anything. If any questions on the topic.
Thanks a lot for the wonderful deliberation.
Yeah, Pooja ji, first of all, my compliments. I think wonderful and very comprehensive the presentation you made. And
Thank you,
the
sir.
only thing is why so many companies, you know, on one side.
First and foremost, I would like to express my appreciation to the speaker and guest of honor for their valuable contribution. I hope that you all found it a fruitful event. It has been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals. Thank you all for being here today and taking a time to patiently listening to what a speaker had to say. I wish you all a blessed day. Before ending the session, I would like to invite.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but someone was saying something. Someone was about to ask some question.
Yeah,
I would like to invite IP Rashmi Chaurasia ji. She's from Calcutta and practicing chartered accountant. She's an IP to formally conclude the event by a formal vote of thanks.
Pallavi, just a minute.
Welcome, Rashmi ma'am.
Unmute. Unmute mic, SME ji. हाँ आवाज नहीं आ रही है। एक बार महेंद्र रस्तोगी जी कुछ पूछ रहे हैं हम उसमें जी या
हाँ जी हाँ जी I think पल्लवी जी को perhaps she was not
yes sir
able to listen. Now the first of all the excellent presentation made Pooja ji, and my compliments. But the thing is, on one side there's so much of the requirement of the equity by SME sector. But why is that there's so many, the companies are not listed, number one. Number two, even if the companies are listed over there, there's some of them, they have migrated to the main bourse. And out of the remaining, not too many companies are being traded. The shares are being traded. So this is something, it doesn't give too much of confidence to the investors. So this was an observation, if you can throw some light on it.
Sir, what's the tendency? It's very, what's the tendency with SME platform? यहाँ पर उनका लोगों की मेंटेलिटी है just go for listing, collect some money and then just leave the market. One time collection of money ही focus रहता है in majority of the SME business, which is not at all appreciable. This is public money. It's not free की money. It comes with lots of responsibility. बस वो करा और उसके बाद खत्म. I've seen many companies here in Ludhiana also. ये है रीजन जो कि नहीं होना चाहिए. एंड यस, जैसे आपने बोला, एब्सोल्युटली राइट, वंस बीइंग लिस्टेड ऑन द एसएमई प्लेटफॉर्म, दे माइग्रेट टू द मेन बोर्ड एंड दिस इज द प्रोसेस, स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस. एसएमई में रहना इज नॉट द मोटिव. वंस आप आइए एसएमई में, देन गो टू द मेन बोर्ड. Sadly, being a professional, it's our duty to explain to the entrepreneur कि सर पैसा आ गया, खेल खत्म नहीं हुआ है, वन टाइम मनी नहीं है. एक बार वो आपके लिए भी बेनिफिशियल नहीं है ना. आपने मार्केट में नाम खराब किया, वो कंपनी का शेयर प्राइस देखो. यू नीड टू मेंटेन योर शेयर्स. Here comes the importance of market making. You need to have agreement with your merchant banker for market making. आप अपने शेयर मेंटेन करो, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी दिखाओ, डिविडेंड करो. आप उसके बाद यू कैन टेक द बेनिफिट ऑफ लिस्टिंग. आप उसके बाद दोबारा फर्दर इशू में लाओ, अपने शेयर परचेज करो. वंस यू लिस्टेड, योर शेयर्स बिकम योर करेंसी. जब पैसा चाहिए, नोट छापने की दुकान तो, मशीन तो घर पे पड़ी है, उसको यूज करिए प्रॉपर्ली. वी नीड टू एजुकेट दिस टू द इन्वेस्टर्स, सॉरी, टू एंटरप्रेन्योर्स.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you everyone, and I would like to call Chartered Accountant and Insolvency Professional Rashmi Chanchariya ji from Kolkata, our associate member, to give a vote of thanks to all. Rashmi ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful and enrichment session.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
To hear from you, to learn from you many things. Divesh ji शायद अब नहीं यहाँ पे, he has left the seminar because of some work I think, but इनका भी सेशन बहुत ही enrichment था. एकदम सही बात है कि इतने Companies Act amendment में changes आ रहे हैं, and because of being a practicing chartered accountant and in corporate law matters, we have to be so much updated. So his session was also very nice, and I would like to extend sincere thanks to GIPA professional organization. प्रवीण जी, जिनके मेहनत से हम सब यहाँ पे इस सेशन में जुड़ पाए और सबको सुन पाए. And I would also like to extend my thanks to the chief guest, Mr. Mahendra Rastogi and Dr. Raj Chawla ji. सर, आप लोग यहाँ पे इस मंच में हमारे संग है, हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी बात है, और आपको सुना हम लोगों ने, that was very good for us. And also I would like to thank the organizers, Pallavi ji and Deepa ji, and सबसे heartful thanks to Praveen ji for getting all of us here today. Thank you.
Thank you a lot, Devesh ji and Pooja ji and all the participants with our chief guest of honor. Thanks you all.
To you, sir. Thanks to you.
Thanks so much. Thank you, sir.